anybody's gonna get on tonight. Hello, hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble with my eyes tonight. What's happening? If you're new here and you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Anybody gonna talk to me tonight? Anybody? Anybody? New here from Florida. Karen, welcome. Glad to have you here. Just gonna wait a few more minutes and then we'll see how many more people are gonna hop on and then I'll get started. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. My name is Renee, by the way. Just waiting for some more people to hop on. I'm kind of early. I'm never early. No, Chloe Bear, get away from my tripod. Sorry, my cat's like, there we go. I'm just going to go under the bed instead. Thank you for the likes. I don't know your name. Do you have a name and where you're from? Who was sending the hearts? Hello, hello. If you're new here and you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Jessica, you're back. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm just going to wait another minute. We're going to see if we're going to plateau off or anybody's. Cleo from Texas, welcome. Glad to have you here. And then I'll get going. Thank you for the follow. E. Butler, do you have a name and where you're from? Thank you for all the hearts too, by the way. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Eva, and from Ireland. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. I just realized I forgot to write something down. If I don't make notes, then I forget. So starting something new, and so if I don't put it in my notes, I totally forget. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna just hang out for one more minute. Hang tight with me. I'm gonna see if anybody else. Welcome to your world. Yeah, it's been my world for a long time too, Karen. Seriously. Like at my old apartment, I could think of something in my bedroom, walk down the hallway to the kitchen. By the time I would get to the kitchen to write it down, it would be gone. Yep, that's my world too. Lefty? I'm not a lefty. I'm not sure where that came from. Same? Yeah. We don't talk any politics here, and I don't claim to be a lefty. I don't claim to be a righty on here. I'm just here to help people. So I don't care if you're left, right, brown, blue, purple, green. I don't care. It's not what my page is about. If you stick around, maybe you'll learn something. Okay, guys. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So if you're new here, tell me who you are, where you're from. My name is Renee, and I'm from California. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Just a little bit about me and why I'm even here. So I started my TikTok in March of 2024. The reason I started my TikTok is because in September of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself. And that's when I discovered I had abilities to talk to my spirit guides, and they slowly breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which was to help other people, to uplift others, to help others through their loss and their trauma. Blonde Babe, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Cruisin', do you have a name, guys? And thank you for the follow. Jessica, thank you for the heart. And so basically the gist of it was my husband and I were together for 32 years. If you're not familiar with my story, if you are, I'm sorry that you hear this all the time. But my husband and I were together for 32 years. We were never apart longer than 2 weeks in those 32 years. And so when my husband decided to check out, thank you for the follow. Deborah. Glad to have you, Deborah. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate that, guys. Hey, Jen. And so, like I said, we were never apart more than 2 weeks in that 32 years. So when he made that choice, my whole world imploded. 32 years gone, just up in smoke. People kept telling me, Renee, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I really didn't know how to do that. I could barely breathe. And so I wasn't sure that I was going to stay on this planet. Sorry. And my youngest daughter said to me, she said, Mom, you realize your life is worth living, right? And that was my light bulb moment. And so my husband didn't leave me in a great spot financially, so I couldn't go to therapy. A little over 2 years ago, it was September 14th of 2023. And so, like I said, therapy was out, and I'm the circle that don't fit in the square. I'm the unique girl. So I knew that group therapy probably wasn't going to work for me either. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm going to stay on this planet, I have to figure out a way to heal myself. And so I started to deep dive into meditation and journaling. We lost our Emily, 1/21/25, coming up on a year. I'm so broke. She was only 18. I am so sorry. Really? Identical to yours? Wow, that's crazy. I'm so sorry, guys. Well, welcome to my community, my page. This is what my community is about. I only have 2 rules here real quick. I just ask that everybody be kind. And the second one is we talk absolutely no politics here. Like I said, this is just not at all what my page is about. It's not against one side or the other. I'm here to help people. And like I said, I don't care if you're left, right, green, blue, purple, brown. I don't care. I'm here to help people. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Anyway, so yes, it's a safe place. And it's a place for people to come. If you're grieving and you've lost somebody and you don't know where to go, or you don't know that next step, or you're alone, right? My husband's family, after 32 years, the day of the funeral was the last time I ever saw them. I never heard from anybody after. I basically, like I said, my whole world of 32 years imploded. I had my kids, my apartment, my fur babies, and my best friend, and a few family here and there, right? And so, like I said, I had to figure out a way to heal myself because I couldn't keep going the way I was going. I was absolutely miserable. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments here. Anyway, so I deep dived into meditation and journaling, and I started to heal. And the very first message I ever got in meditation, like I said, is my guides they breadcrumb me to my purpose. And that message was, what heals you will heal others. And then they started to, give me other breadcrumbs to figure out where I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be doing. And it led me to being online and sharing my story with others. After losing my mother, I have absolutely no one. I am so sorry. Hey, you're back. You were here. Were you here last night? Well, you have us now, so you do have someone. You're not alone. My in-laws left the viewing to go to a lawyer to sue me for everything we had. Well, my situation wasn't quite like that. The credit unions took everything. I don't mean to laugh because it's not, that's how I deal, but I'm so sorry. I've been to hell and back in the last 2 years, literally. I've lost everything, and I've literally hit rock bottom at 50 years old. So if anybody can relate to you, it's me. So just know that you are not alone. None of you are alone. And if you're, you're struggling or you just need a place to go, know that this is what my page is about and for. Lost my son last February 6th. He was 37. I'm trying to help my wife and 2 other children. Gilbert, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. So basically what I do is I get on here. We do talk about loss. I do believe that the topic goes where the topic's supposed to go. Just know that we are not shy here. My page depends on you commenting, but just know so too, TikTok likes to play games with me, and sometimes they will filter comments. I don't have any filters on. I have absolutely no control over it, sadly. So if I don't get your comment, if I don't read it, that means I didn't get it. Just know if it's important, please DM me after. Just know I don't always get back to everybody the same night. By the time I do my live, it's been a long day, so it might be the next day before I get back with you. So generally when I go live, my guides give me a topic every night, but we can talk about wherever the topic goes. Like I said, this can wait till another night. Do you guys want to tell me? So let's start here real quick before I get into any of this. How are you guys dealing? Are you dealing with your losses? Aren't you dealing with it? Excuse me. Kind of tell me where you're at. Your pain never goes away. Your ability to cope increases. I agree with that statement. Yes and no. I do believe there is a way to heal you. Will you fully ever be completely healed in that aspect? Then you continue to cope with that little bit of healing for the rest of your life? Yes. But I do believe that you can heal and you can move forward. I want to be supportive, but I need support. Well, guess what? I'm here. You have support. I'm generally say this at the end, but I'm going to put this out there right now. So I am support. I can't talk ever. I am starting a Zoom grief support meeting every Thursday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And so that starts, we kind of started last week, but I had like 2 people on. So we just kind of did a dry run, see how things went. So that starts Thursday. So if you guys want to get in on that, you don't have to talk. You can talk. You don't have to, whatever you want to do. But I started it so people knew that they weren't alone, because I went through this. Like I said, I had a handful of people, and that was it. So just know you are not alone. You can hop on here. I'm here. I usually leave this stuff to the end, but I am here Sunday through Wednesday. I try to be as consistent as possible. I'm still human. Things happen, life happens, but I'm here 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday through Wednesday, and you can hop on. I have a great community here. We're very supportive. Just know you're not alone. Karen, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I rock. Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Tom, thank you for the follow. You've lost 2 children. Oh my gracious. So how are you guys handling it? Tell me, are you dealing? Are you not dealing? Are we, some people sweep things under the rug, and we talk about that all the time, unfortunately. You can sweep things under the rug only for so long, and then you're going to trip over the rug, right? I had a full-term stillborn in 1994. And I had a 3-year-old at home. I didn't think I had time to grieve. And so I didn't. And I just kind of swept it under the rug for about 2 years until the second anniversary came around. And then I actually missed the date. And I was so upset with myself. And it was like I hit a brick wall. You're having a hard time, Karen? Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I do, just so you all know, I do different topics on my live every night. Sometimes we just chat, but generally we have a topic. And so I don't know if you're interested, besides the Zoom meeting on Thursday nights, you can go. I have a YouTube channel under Scorpio Medium, and you can go over to my YouTube channel, and I upload all of my lives over there. And I have a lot of them on how to deal with grief and just anything and everything you can think of when it comes to loss and relationships and dreams and goals and all of that. So if you go over to Scorpio Medium, I would love it if you subscribed and check that out. There's lots of information there too. You're so very welcome. Take control finally. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, sorry guys. Whoo! Must have been getting a download. My ears were going nuts. Dealing, counseling, and grief group. Okay, well, that's great. Well, just know, like I said, I'm starting a grief meeting every Thursday. It's basically a grief group on Zoom, and you're welcome to join us there too. Just send me a message or an email. My email's down in the bio, and I can get you the login information if you want. Because like I said, I couldn't afford group therapy. I was like, yeah, it ain't gonna work for me because I'm the weird girl. I'm the unique girl. Circle don't fit in the square. I just didn't see myself there. So I did a lot of journaling. Journaling was and meditation, but journaling, I would get out into nature and I would cry and I would journal and I would just get out everything. That's the thing and don't hold back, right? Don't even think, just write, and there was days where it's like, okay, I'm angry with you. And I would write, I'm angry with you today, or today I'm sad and I don't know how to cope without you, whatever it may be. But journaling was my saving grace, and meditation. Thank you for all the hearts. I'm not quite sure who's sending them. Okay guys, well, unless somebody else has something or I'm missing it because they're not showing me, I'm going to go ahead and get started. But just know you can talk to me about this or that, whatever. You're never interrupting me. Okay. My page is your page, so just know you're never interrupting me. So tonight we're going to talk about living with intention, right? And what does that mean? When you look it up, it says plan for doing something, commitment to a specific action or result, right? So what does that look like? Are you living your life every day with intention? And I know for me, for many, many years, I lived in survival mode. I literally just survived, right? And it wasn't until after I lost my husband that I really came to that realization that I just lived in survival mode. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, Jesse, how are you? Appreciate the blessings. And so I lived in survival, right? I didn't live my life. I mean, I did things and I participated and I took care of my kids and I raised my kids and I did all of that, but I really wasn't living my life a lot of the time with intention. It's a very lost feeling. Yes. I'm glad to hear that you're good. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up here. Well, know that you're not lost and you're not alone. As long as you're here with my community, I have great people. You are never lost or alone again. So do you have a purpose or an aim, right? For me, I had to reevaluate everything. Like I said, I lost my husband after 32 years. My whole entire world crumbled. It imploded. There was nothing left. Like I said, my kids, my fur babies, my best friend, and my apartment. That was what was left of my life. And so I had to reevaluate what it was. Okay, now where was my place in this world, right? So along with that came learning to, and I talk about this even last night, I talk about this a lot. This goes into every topic I talk about, is learning who I was and learning to love myself, right? I was with my husband since I was 16 years old. I did not know an adult life without him. And so, when you're 16, you don't know who you are, and then I started popping out babies and so after I really had to take a good hard look at my life and, okay, who was I now without him? Did I really know who I was and did I love me? And I can tell you right now, I was sort of learning to love myself before he passed, but really learning to discover who I was. And then, that all came with that. And why that's so important is because it's hard to know what you want in life if you don't if you don't know who you are, right? And so do you have a purpose? Do you have a name, right? And then after my husband passed, like I said, if you know my story, I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my spirit guides, and then they led me to my purpose, right? Which is to be here with all of you amazing people. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Do you have a name and where you're from? And so, okay, I discovered my purpose. So then how did I live that with intention, right? For me, it was easy because I have guides that tell me every day, Renee, you're not meditating. Renee, you're not doing this. Renee, you're not doing what we tell you to do, right? Because they had been telling me for a couple months, they were like, okay, now you're going to get online and you're going to talk about your story. You're going to share your story with others and you're going to help others with loss, after I discovered that that's what my purpose was. Virginia and Louisiana. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And so they're like, Renee, you're going to get online. You need to start making reels. You need to be telling people your story. And I'm like, I don't know how to make a reel because I'm like technologically challenged, right? And so that Christmas we got together, my kids and I got together, and my granddaughter, she was a preteen at the time, and I was like, can you help grandma make a reel? Because grandma didn't know how to make a reel. And so she showed me how to make a reel, and I drug my feet until January. So there again, I still wasn't living my purpose. I wasn't living my intention, or I didn't have intention every day to live my purpose. January rolled around, and it was like, of course, because guides are very persistent. If you know anything about spirit world, they're very persistent. And they're like, Renee, you're still not making reels. And so that's when I started living with intention, started living my purpose. I started making reels. Well, I was only putting them out on Facebook and Instagram, and because that's where I knew how to do it. And then come February, my guides were like, Renee, it was the end of January, 1st of February. My guys are like, Renee, you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't want to be on TikTok. And they're like, well, you need to be on TikTok. I'm like, I don't even know how to be on TikTok. And so there again, I wasn't living my purpose. I wasn't living with intention. Drug my feet till March, and then my daughter had a baby, and so all my grandkids were together, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to help grandma start a TikTok? And they were all just thrilled to help me. I had like, I don't know how many, what do I have, 9 grandkids? Well, number 9 was born, so at that time 8. And so I had 8 grandkids in my living room, and they were just thrilled to help grandma start a TikTok. And so they helped me get on TikTok, and so I started posting my reels on TikTok, and come July then, so every day, and of course through this, so my husband checked out September 14th of 23, and I started hearing from my guides probably like the end of October-ish. And about the first part of November, then they were giving me messages for others also. So I was doing lives, and I was, that kind of thing here and there, putting out the messages a little bit here and there that they were giving me on Facebook. But so at this point, then I started really getting messages. I would get a song just about every day, or some kind of a message. So I started doing reels, and I was putting them out everywhere, and I was living with intention, right? So it's a conscious decision every day to achieve your purpose or your goal, right? So what is your purpose? What is your goal? And like I said, what's really important is it's really hard to have a purpose or a goal if you don't know who you are. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't know who you are, I would start there. And if you don't know how to start there, reach out to me, send me an email, get in my DMs, and I'll help you figure that out, right? Or give you the steps to help you figure that out. Okay, so that means come up with a course of action, right? So you know who you are, you have a goal, you have an aim, you have a purpose of whatever it may be, right? Then you have to come up with a course of action. So in my case, my course of action was, okay, you're going to put out reels, right? And so I was putting out my messages every day to help people. Oh, we got another troll. I had a troll on this afternoon. 2. Normally you get 3 warnings, but you don't, because you're not being nice. And all I ask on here is to be kind, and you weren't being kind to me. So I love these trolls because people really think that what they say to me is going to hurt my feelings. I've been to hell and back, people. Like, there is nothing that anybody could say to me on here that is going to bother me. I do not like anybody take my bees anymore. So, oh, did you get him, Jen? Okay. I forgot you were on. So I think I blocked him. He probably got double blocked. I don't know if that's possible, but anyway, so committing, right? Committing to yourself. That's the biggest thing. Okay. I think I did it too. But committing to yourself that you are going to live an intentional life every single day, right? And putting action behind that to fulfill your dream or your goal. So that means follow through, right? That's hard for some people. So some of the planned actions, so what I come up with, it was intend to be present, right? An intention to be present every day. That's a great goal. That's a great start. That was something my guides pound into my head every day, Renee, because like I said, I lost my entire world of 32 years. So, I had nothing to return to there, but I felt stuck because it was like I had one foot in the past that no longer existed. There was nothing left for me there, right? And so my mind kept wandering to, okay, so what's next? What's the next door? What's the next chapter? And my guides are like, you're not going to get to that next door, that next chapter until you learn how to be present in the moment. And so setting an intention, these are just some ideas for you. An intention to be present. Enjoying those simple moments. If you're not familiar with my videos, my guide's given me several videos about it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And even when you're going to hell and back, trust me, it's about those little moments, right? And as hard as it is when you're going through something, it's still about those moments because they're still part of your journey. If you're just hopping on, will you please tell me who you are, where you're from? If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from California. Welcome. 2, set an intention to find something to be grateful for. Right after I lost my husband, that was hard for me. Even though I had lots of things to be grateful for, right? I had the bestest friend in the whole world that was always there for me. I had my kids who are amazing, and I had my fur babies, and I still had a roof over my head, even though they took my car, they took my camper, and all my other earthly possessions. I still had so many things to be grateful for. I was still here, and I had 32 years of memories with him, right? So set the intention. Sorry, my nose always itches. My grandma would say, somebody's talking about me. Probably the troll. So set an intention to find something to be grateful for. I like to journal my gratitude list is what I call it every day. So number 3, my intention for self-care and rest. That was a hard one for me because I'd never learned how to fill up my own cup, right? I don't know about you all. I was a mom and I was running myself ragged. I worked and I ran kids and, I taught Sunday school and I did all of these things, right? And I was always running on E because I didn't understand how important it was for self-care and to fill up my cup. So intentionally giving yourself self-care and rest. Rest is one of the things my guides are continuing right now to, thank you for the likes, Jesse, I appreciate that, pound into my head. Because they have given me visions of my future. I kind of know where I'm going. They don't tell you everything because you're never meant to know everything. But I know where I'm going to go. And my life is going to speed up here in a little while. And, I don't want to say a little while. When it does, right? I don't focus on when. I just focus on doing what I'm meant to do right now. And it'll happen when it's meant to happen. Sugar Mama 5, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And so... where was I? Rest. And so they're telling me, Renee, you need to rest because when your life speeds up, if you don't know how to rest now, you're not going to know how to rest then, and you're going to go into burnout. So, if you feel like you're in a season of rest and listen to your body, right? That's the biggest thing. I've had fibromyalgia for years. And so, that was one of the things my husband always used to tell me. He would say, Renee, If your body tells you, I'd be like, I need to take a nap, but I got a million things to do, right? And my husband would say, Renee, if your body is telling you to take a nap, take a nap. Listen to your body. Give yourself self-care, right? Whatever that means to you. For me, I like to take a hot bath where I'm living now, more of a hot shower, but a hot bath, getting your hair done. Those are superficial things, but they're still self-care, right? Whatever makes you feel good and it fills that cup up for you. Make sure you're doing that. So setting an intention every day for self-care and rest. And intend to release grudges and practice forgiveness, right? So setting an intention to forgive people. One of the things I've learned on my 2-year journey is that I was a very opinionated person, let's just say, for a lack of better words, before my husband checked out. And I've just learned to stay in my own lane and just love people, right? Love people right where they're at, And I always like to say, and I didn't start out with it tonight, but I always like to say, I am on my journey of life where I am, and you're on your journey of life where you are. And none of us are going to agree on everything. So just learn to love people, right? They're on their journey, you're on yours. I always like to say now, you know what? If you're not hurting me, you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone else. You do you, boo, and I'll do me. I just stay in my lane, right? But the big thing I want to emphasize here is forgiveness. Sadly, people let their ego and their pride get in the way of, well, I can't forgive that person. And they hold grudges over stupid things, right? And when I say stupid things is that's a lot of things, right? And I know to some people it might not seem stupid, but at the end of the day, if you had 4 days to live, is it really that important? That's how I look at life now, right? Tomorrow is never promised. Life is short and you have to be grateful for every second. And holding a grudge against somebody, guess what? That's not against them. Half the time they don't even know you're holding the grudge, right? So the forgiveness is for you. It's, to clear out all the crud out of you. That's bad energy, and you don't need that and you don't want that. So, you know what I mean? Set the intention every day to not hold grudges, to love people right where they are, to stay in your own lane, and just forgive people. Because like I said, forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. Not at all for them. It's so you don't live a miserable life holding these grudges every day. Can you imagine? Ugh. Okay. Intend to set the intention to, I cannot talk tonight. Set the intention to set healthy boundaries. That was another huge lesson for me. Learning to set boundaries with people, right? If you're not comfortable with something, stop being the people pleaser. There again, that goes back to, do you know who you are? Very important. Yes. Do you know who you are? Because once you know who you are, you love yourself, and guess what? You stop being a people pleaser because you don't need those other people's validation anymore. You don't need anybody's validation. The only person's validation you need is your own. So there again, if you don't know who you are and you don't love yourself, go back to that step and then continue on, because without that, it's really hard to set boundaries. So learning to set healthy boundaries with people, learn how to say no. If you're not comfortable doing something, here's my thing. I'm 51 years old. If you're disturbing my peace, I keep you at an arm's length, right? Nothing or nobody is worth my peace anymore. Nobody. And I don't care who you are. You can be my brother, my sister. It doesn't matter. My aunt, my uncle. I don't care. I don't care. If you are disturbing my peace, then that's what boundaries are for. Plain and simple. But like I said, if you're struggling setting boundaries and you're not sure who you are or that you love yourself, go back and start there. And if you're struggling to do that, get with me and I'll help you figure that out. Okay? Or we'll get you on the right track. 51. I look 12. Well, thank you. I don't know about 12, but all right. So When you look it up, the spiritual meaning of intention is when you set an intention, we let go of expectations of how things go, right? I'm a very spiritual person. I still believe in the creator, divine. I don't say God, I just say creator or the divine. I have my reasons for that. But I do believe that there is a creator, and, I have just learned to not set expectations anymore. I have faith and I trust that my divine team, the creator, is going to take care of me. And so I try every day to to not have expectations, right? To set my intention to not have expectations. So there again, putting your trust in the divine, your divine team. If you're not aware, we all have a divine team, because people always look at me like, divine team, what are you talking about? Yes, we all have guides, we all have angels, spirit guides, we all have angels. You have ancestors, maybe a great-great-grandmother that's always there watching over you, like I said, passed over loved ones. So we all have a divine team plus the creator. Okay. So lastly, setting the intention and acting on that, right? That's what it all comes down to, is every day setting an intention in your life. And if you don't, Jesse, thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. If you don't take action, then what? Then where you're at. If you don't take action, you're staying idle, you're stagnant, and you're not evolving, right? I believe as a person, if you're not evolving, and trust me, before my husband passed, I was not evolving. I was as stagnant as they come, right? I was just going through the motions every single day of my life, living in survival mode. And so learning to evolve, right? Grow as a person. Like I just talked about. If you don't know who you are or you don't love yourself, then figure out how to do that, right? You need to figure out how to do that. That's evolving, right? Evolving. And I evolved. I was an opinionated person, and I evolved to now I just love people right where they are. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care what your opinion is of me. People's opinions of me are none of my business, right? So I have evolved as a person because I just stay in my lane now. Does that make sense? Okay, I think that's everything I have for tonight. Does anybody have any questions or any other comments? While I'm waiting for those, if you missed it, I do have a YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber, I'd love it if you went over there and subscribed. That is under Scorpio Medium. You'll find all of the reels that I upload here over there. The only difference is if you like my lives and you miss one, you can go over there and check that out. I upload all my lives, cannot talk tonight or ever, over there on my YouTube, Scorpio Medium. I am here Sunday through Wednesday. I try to be as consistent as possible. Just know I am human. Life happens to me too. But I try to be here Sunday through Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those of you that were coming on Wednesdays for my mini reads, I'm not doing mini reads. Those are on pause for a little while, just some different circumstances. So no more mini read Wednesdays at the moment. But if you didn't catch it, I am a psychic medium. And if you would like a full reading, you can go down to my bio, send me an email. That's how I set those up. So if there's somebody that you would like to hear from on the other side, you're so welcome, Jesse. Thank you for all the likes and for hopping on. I appreciate you. And so, like I said, if there's somebody that you would like to connect with on the other side, you can do that through my email. And last but not, well, no, two things. I have a Venmo down there too. So if you enjoy my content and you would like to leave me a tip, you can do that through my Venmo. Always appreciated, but never expected. And then last but not least, I just started a Zoom grief meeting. And so that will be on Thursday night. So if you would like the information to dial into that, let me know. Those are going to be at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. That way people on the East Coast have time to hop on. It's not terribly late for them. So if you are grieving and you feel alone, know that you're not alone, and that's why I set that up. So Zoom meeting, grief Zoom meetings on Thursdays. That's everything that I have. Does anybody else have a comment or anything? Anybody going once? Going twice? Nobody? Okay, guys. Well, on that note, I hope y'all have a great night. I will be back here. Let's see, it's Tuesday, so I'll be back here tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll hope, cannot talk. Hope you all have a great night. Remember to make tomorrow great, because it is a choice. And on that note, until we meet again.